Thanks, thanks, guys. Cool, we're live. All right. What's going on, everyone? My name is Seth Miranda. Welcome to Adorama. Welcome to the event space at Adorama. This place is always here for you. You guys know these chairs are always here as much as this chat is here for you. Quick disclaimer to all you guys. One, it is torrential downpour out there, so whoever's walking in late is it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Two, I'm by myself, so I'm gonna be switching the feed by myself, and I'm gonna be moderating the chat by myself. So for you guys in the chat specifically, one, if I don't have a camera angle that's showing you something for whatever reason, type a bunch of asterisks in the chat and yell at me, I'll spot that. If you have a question, put a bunch of big capital, like you can change the font size, put a bunch of capital Q's and I'll be able to grab from that. Anything in between, I'm not gonna read it, guys. I gotta worry about a couple things. I got Justin with me today. Boom, that's how you activate your model. Justin came through last minute. My model canceled and this guy was like, I'm here, let's go. And he's one of my favorites. I mean, he's an actor here in New York, really talented. I can light him a million different ways, although we always end up making you brooding. Yeah. We'll probably end up there as well. And this is a demo that I came up with basically because I'm in a spot where I feel a lot of people are, and I think we talked about this at Comic-Con, is there's like this weird burnout happening, this fog, right? You guys get to a point, what I call as plateau. You get psyched, 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 and then you're kind of just doing the status quo, like, I get the lighting that I know works, and I get home, and then I edit, and I put on Instagram, and then my mom hits like, and no one cares, and I'm gone. And then you kind of get deflated. And I'm kind of in that boat. I'm burnt out. I am tired. How do you make yourself want to shoot? And this was I don't want to call it a formula, but it's a method I came up with at my studio. When I have nothing going on, I'll throw a mannequin, I'll call a friend, I'll call an actor that I know could always use shots, right? Making friends with actors is your best bet because they're always going to need stuff. They always got wardrobe. They always need something that looks different. And you get to do whatever you want to do and collaborate. And next thing you know, you're building up like a Rolodex of styles that you didn't even think you wanted to do, right? So this is the hardest part of all this is just starting, like getting up and grabbing that heavy camera bag and going to go shoot, or figuring out what you're gonna get started with, right? And so once you get past that, get that discipline, I think we're all in the same boat where as soon as we're shooting, we're okay, right? But how many times have you got into a space, a studio, and you're like, it's daunting. You're not even sure what to start with, especially when you're responsible for the entire look, right? Because whatever you're shooting, whatever you're recording is gonna be from you, your thought, your technique, your everything, right? Or maybe it's not. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the great Joe McNally, I don't know if he's a newcomer, but he says the studio is an empty box you fill with your imagination. He says this all the time, and he says it like Captain Kangaroo, and you look at him starry-eyed, and then you realize when you get in there, yeah, it's an empty box. It's a blank page. Where do we start? What words do you start typing? Because I always tell you guys, everything we do in that frame is a word in a sentence, and it has to be coherent. You're not gonna be next to everybody looking at your images. They have to connect. Everyone's gonna take what they take away from it. It's up to you where you leave it off. Like, do you get them 80% of that narrative there and then they go with it? How close do you wanna go, right? How much do you wanna make that connection over a line and spell it out for them, or do you keep it open-ended? And that's kind of the best part of it, right? Is that everyone's open, our work is always open to interpretation, but we have to start somewhere. They have to interpret something, right? So the studio, blank page. Our subject in this case is gonna be human beings, people, portrait, whatever. I look at it, and this sounds stupid, but I don't care. They're like slabs of marble. We get to really change perception because we are going to be sculpting out. We are taking Justin out of our world that's here where no one else is there. When you shoot, no one else that sees the images is where you're shooting. They don't know what happened. They don't know that he was my alternate model. They don't know that it's raining today. They don't know that I'm tired out of my mind. They don't know this is my third shirt today. They don't know any of this. All they're gonna know is that shot, right? But what we put in that frame, the perception we create with our model, with the light we create, is everything. So we can go from flat to really sculpted. You can go noir, you can go deep shadows, dense shadows, specular highlights. You have all these tools, but where do you start? So when I say it's a slab of marble, the way I start out is as flat as possible, especially if it's with someone you've never shot with before. I have wow, it's so hot up here. How do you do this, Dan, with your asthma? I'm dying. I haven't done this in a while. I have a video coming out on my channel, my personal channel, that is with a model I shot with for the first time. Before I did anything, I shot what people would call like a slate, like just a flat. And just so I have an idea of well, what's the width of their face feel like? What is their presence when they go from 3D to 2D? Because how many times have you seen something like, you would be amazing, and then you take a shot and you're like, what happened between this and that it just didn't, what happened? The 2D is what happened, you know? And we are creating, a lot of people tell you like, oh, you know, the shadow is drawing in and the highlight draws you more. It's like, shut up. We're gonna talk about what shadows and highlights are doing. But the reality is that when we are creating the light on our subject, we're doing a few different things. We're creating our exposure, we're illuminating our subject, but things like, for example, lighting from the front's one thing, but when you throw in a hair light or rim light and it rakes across the skull, face, man, I'm in Halloween mode. This is a high holiday for me. When you have a rim light that shows you a distance from the top of a cheek point to where an ear is, you now have an idea of how big of a head that person has, what presence they might have compared to you. If you're someone that's 4'11" and have small bone structure, and this shot shows you just how long that light has to rake to show you just that micro texture that's happening on the temple. That is our power. That is what we get to do. And how many times have you wanted to backlight a subject in natural light just to get that type of feel? And you can make a decision of slightly overexposing it to make it more stylized, or making it subtle so that you would only realize it's gone when it's gone, right? I'm sorry, you only realize it's there when you take it away. And that's your decision. There is no right answer here. And I'm not here to tell you the right answers because I don't have them either. But what I can do is create a style that I feel, stick to it, put it out there. And if someone else goes, you know what, I agree with this style, I want some of this style, can you shoot something for me, blah, blah, that's where we go, okay? Everyone get me? We already got a question in the chat. Thank you guys for being so active in here. Tips on dealing with times when people completely miss the interpretation you were going for, like oh man, it's like a seeing eye exam on this thing. Like you're trying to say something with your photo, people just don't get it. You have to be at peace with that. The reality, that is, listen, I am not one to be like, I'm an artist or whatever, but this is as much an art as it is a science. And if you're putting something out there creatively, you have no idea what background that person comes from to then react in a certain way to your image. You could be thinking, this is a super funny image, but to them, it's traumatic because it's something they have as an experience. Does it matter if they're connecting with your work in some way? Does it matter if they spent more than 7 seconds looking at it and wanting to engage with? Does that matter? In my opinion, no. My job is to give you an image that you can bite your eyeball into, that has an impact, that makes you become an audience member, not someone seeing a shot I took. I want you to wait for the next shot I take. I want you to want to be part of the next shot I take. So you have to let go of this like, I meant this and this is my message and yeah, look at my ego. Shut up, no one cares. Just shoot, get it to where you want it. And if people are on board with what you were trying to get there, that's great. But it is a language and it's an open-end language and interpretation is part of that. And maybe if they're missing it, maybe think about, well, how can I change my tone of voice? Meaning, no, this was supposed to be more dramatic. Then really pull it over the goal line. Really suck those shadows down. Get it denser. Take away some elements that might not look. I'll give you an example. I shot for a makeup artist that threw a book at me that was only self-portraits. And I'm not even making this up. It was them on the Williamsburg Bridge, and they were just doing this. And they wrote on the bottom, brooding, and then the next one, dark. And I'm like, you're in high noon sun with people walking with balloons. This is not reading, brooding. And so there are options we have to make more of a literal stance on what we're trying to interpret, but you have to leave it open-ended for whatever is going to be absorbed by the viewer. The viewer is probably the most important part of your image. If you think about it, in the end, it's on them. You put it out there, but it's on them. That's like saying like, you put a song out there, but not everybody really understands the lyrics. It's not about that. Everyone's gonna take it their own way. So I hope that kind of makes sense. I know that was a really long-winded, I'm filling time if you can't tell. Anyway, so we're gonna shoot, okay? Because I looked at my past demos and I talk way too much. I'm gonna shoot the ProPhoto B30, there's a 500 watt second light. I'm gonna be shooting with a Nikon Z9 with blood crusted in everything because it's my camera and that's what's in there. It's fake blood, shut up. So the decision I gotta make, the first decision I gotta make before I do anything is what? What is my first decision, Pete? Awesome. What's my first decision, guy with mustache?
I would say, what's your background? What are you going for as a subject?
What am I going for as a subject? So close. What is my shot? Is my shot Justin? Is it a character he's portraying? Is it my scene, right? Is it a portrait? Is it editorial? Is it the outfit? Is it a narrative? Is there a concept here, or am I just shooting Justin? Or is it about the fact that he's in the space doing a demo, right? I think, especially at Comic-Con, if you watched that video I did, a lot of the questions I asked you guys were like, well, are you going for the look of being at a convention, or are you trying to isolate them to give them the look of the character? And that is two completely different ends here. So I'm going to make the first decision. I'm going to say, I'm going to isolate him and not make him look like he's at the space. Maybe later on we'll completely go into left field like I always do, but I know you got a hard out, so I'll start shooting fast.
Sorry.
I know. You're so popular. Worst case, I'll take someone out of the crowd. All right. Is this going to block any? I'll put it back here. All right. So if I'm isolating the light, what's the first shot I got to take? Okay, listen, I know there's not a lot of people here because it's a downpour outside, but you're all going to do what I ask you guys to do every time. On the count of 3, you're all going to scream, okay? 1, 2, 3, scream. I am not shooting a frame. I'll walk out of here. He can go home. 1, 2, 3, scream. Do you feel better? You can yell at me now. Ice is broken. We're in New York. What is this? You're literally in the Photo Nerd Comedy Cellar. Are you out of your mind? You are building this as much as we are. If these seats are empty, there's nothing here. You're part of this, all right? Whether you like it or not. All right, so I'm going to start off with, I'm going to start off with F8. Why not? Go. We did just redo the lighting in here. I want to thank Nanlite for throwing us new lights. This is the second time they've stacked us with some new lighting. F8, ISO 100, 200th of a second. I'm going to do ISO, yeah.
What lens are you going to use?
What lens am I going to use? Come on, Jen. Why are you doing this to me now? This is a 24-to-120 full f4. And I do this lens a lot because sometimes when you don't even know where to get started, you have to have the versatility in the tool to then realize where you're settling. So my habits have always been a pretty long focal range, but a quality zoom, not just any zoom. And then when I start seeing I'm settling in, that's when I start going to the prime. So I have an 85 and I have a 135 with me, but I might not even go near there. I might shoot him at 24 millimeters for all I know. Because any lens is a portrait lens. And I'm not even saying this is a portrait. I'm just shooting a demo. So I don't know what this shot's gonna be, but we're gonna make it together. All right, so ISO 100 because, well, I'm controlling all the light. Why not make it as clean as I can? This is going to be a trip hazard. All right, let's do this. Boom. Okay, black frame, right? So we look at the black frame, we pull the exposure slider, and we got 2.5 stops till we see Justin. Can you guys even see that? A little bit, right? So this isn't just a black frame saying what the great Gavin Hoey would say, no flash, no photo. You see that? Gavin even simplified our thing, Dan. Do you believe this? This is not just showing you that you've blocked out the light. This is showing you the maximum density of your shadows. If this was only a half a stop, that means from the highlight that I'm going to make my exposure to the shadow, the densest part, that's going to be a half a stop. What if I do want that drama? What if I do want that noir? What if I am trying to get that interpretation, right? So this is more information than you think. Think of it this way. If I'm 2.5 stops away from starting to see detail in him, if I set up a single light and then I want to put in a fill light, I know I have 2.5 stops of leeway in that fill light. So if I'm using a similar light with a similar modifier for the fill, I know right away, I'm not guessing. And I guess that's kind of what part of this demo is about as well, is you shouldn't have to guess. Lighting is predictable. We know what's going to happen here. What we don't know is how it will be perceived based on our subject. So a lot of questions we get are about skin tone. How do you light for darker skin tone versus lighter skin tones? It's the same exposure. Daniel's proven it time and time again. He's just like, you sit there and then you sit there. But the difference is the perception of the light is different. The warmth versus cool, or even sometimes what you're wearing can bend the perception of the light. I'm wearing a white shirt. It will always reflect up. You know, if you're wearing, we just had a Coffee with Creators here with Will Cadena. My man was rocking a huge hat and a dark Merlot suit. What do you think that light did? He was getting absorbed with shadow left and right. But that was the perception of light. If you look at his skin in that Coffee with Creators, it was on exposure. In fact, there's moments where he moves in, you can see it starts to get a little overexposed as he moves, you know, but then if I compensate for that, I become, my pasty ginger self becomes nuclear, right? Okay, so we've got that. I'm gonna hit reset on that. let's get a light going so we even know what we're looking at. The first thing you got to realize is the distance of your light is just as important as any other decision, like your modifier, your power, all that stuff, okay? So that also goes for the distance of your subject. Do you want me to move that?
Oh, good.
Okay. The distance, I mean, we might get into using that. I cut it right in front of Dan, and now I have to use it. If I'm using a single light, we have zones here, right? So we got a background, we got Justin. If I put Justin against this background, they're the same zone. So I'm not looking at fall off from my subject to my background, which means that gray won't get darker. So if I'm gonna go for flat, 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 I'm gonna put him against that backdrop to start. Then I will know, you know what, I probably wanna get a darker background, I start moving away. And I have these decisions without pulling out more gear, right? We're working with what we got. Everybody good in the chat? I'm trying to stay up on you. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my God, I'm out of breath. I don't know how you are an anomaly of medical science, Daniel Norton. I swear. You sit here and you cough. I'm sitting here, not asthma ridden. All right, so do you guys want me to start with a raw light and go in, or just go right into the flat light? Because we don't got a lot of time. Go right into flat light, raise hands. Okay, we'll do the flat light. So what makes a light flat? I'm so glad you guys are boisterous. Obviously, we want to make it softer, because we make it harder light, we're going to see harder shadows, meaning less gradation from highlight to shadow. If you have soft light, softer light, what makes light soft? Not diffusion. If I put a piece of diffusion on here, does it make it softer? No. The size of the light in relation to my source. The size of my light in relation to my subject. So there's a 5-foot umbrella. If I put it on the other side of the store, it's small compared to him. So it's actually about the size relative, right? If I put this piece of diffusion on here, it might break up the specular highlight, meaning we might not get so many reflections, but it's gonna be a hard light, man. So I'm gonna go with this convenient 5-foot umbrella I found literally out of nowhere here. I don't know, it's so convenient. And I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna throw a sock on it. So what we're basically doing is making a 5-foot light source on this 9, 10-inch head. We're gonna be soft, right? And putting them against the backdrop, we're taking away the zone and making them the same zone. So they should be in the same area, making an even exposure, right? So if I have a massive light source, no real distance or zones, we should have a flat image, okay? What you were thinking of was a product of having diffusion ends up being soft because it makes the light bigger. Like this is a 5-foot piece of diffusion, that becomes my light source, right? Yeah, boy. Look at that. This, I know pro foam umbrellas are expensive, but they are, am I wrong? They're just beautiful, right? They're just like, I'm more of a fan of a silver umbrella with diffusion, and the reason that being, like, look at this fill, like, oh, look at that, right? I'm beautiful, I know. I'm more of a fan of silver because what happens here is you hit white, it scatters, and then it scatters onto a diffusion. If you have if you have silver, you're hitting specular, it's coming at an actual direction instead of scattering and then hitting this. So you get this like one step past just ultra soft, and I tend to lean on that a lot. But I'm not gonna have like 15 umbrellas. I'm just gonna shoot with one. So let's do this. All right. So I'm gonna start off in TTL, which is through the lens metering. We all know this stuff by now, right? If you don't, it pretty much means I'm gonna let it go into automatic. Why? Because it's 2025, shut up. All right? Well, you know what it is? You say TTL, and then you get some guy on Threads going, real photographers don't use TTL. The rest of us are meow, 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 meow. And it's like, cool, have fun shooting those ducks, bro. I don't care. Like, I don't know what to say to you anymore, you know? All right, this is in group A, we're in TTL. Let me drop this out. You know, I think it's also, I know I'm making a joke of it, but I think it's important that people realize we don't all shoot the same way, and we shouldn't. And if we did, this would suck. This would be boring. I wouldn't want to look at your work. I definitely don't want to look at Dan's work. It gets to a point. No, but honestly, me and Dan share a studio. We share similar tastes and styles. We completely shoot differently. You know, in fact, I'm a big fan of very recessed, very directional softboxes. He loves spill everywhere. He likes getting really on the edge of overexposed just enough. I'm like, Dan, pull it back. Like I freak out. I'm like, no, we got to get it back, you know? So there is no right answer, and you shouldn't be out there pressing yourself on other people's thing. If you want to talk about technical, like how can I do this and it's not doing that, that's another story. Technical can always come, but I hope you guys are brave enough to do it the way you want to do it. And then if you really like the style you're creating, stick to it. Don't go, well, I guess it should look like that, because the biggest mistake I think everybody makes is they take the photos they think they should be taking. And we see it at the trade shows, right? What's up?
How long did it take you to get out of that?
How long did it take me to get out of what?
Making the photos that you wanted to make compared to like other photos of shows.
Okay.
You've been doing it for a while, so like you just have social media now, but I'm sure you did with like trade magazines and stuff like that.
Oh, I wake up every day to comments of everything I should have done, how they would have done it. And you know what? They're still not doing it. I don't know who they are, and I'm still doing it. So I stick to that. But the question was, how did I get out of that? And basically not emulate other people's styles like that. The reality is, and you're gonna hate this response, when I wanna get paid and I shoot commercially, they're bringing me a style they want me to emulate. I'm a hired gun. When I wanna do, so I can't talk about it yet, but there's a high-end clientele that I'll be shooting for in a couple months. They asked me to pitch a concept to them for a product. That's when I go, what would I do? How would I do this? And I drove everybody crazy putting together a spec shoot for it. And I hated it. I hated everything I shot until I did it. And you have to kind of get to a place where you trust yourself. And the only way you're going to get to a place where you trust yourself is if you shoot a lot of different ways, and you keep on trying to find the way you talk, the way you shoot, the way you do things. But it is important along the way. You understand, I know how to get a white background. I know how to do three-point lighting. I know how to do a clean headshot. Like, I know how to get reflections out of glasses. You have to get those chops, because you're going to get asked to do those along the way. And then you get to go do what you're going to do when they ask you to be who you are. Hopefully you have a book of a point of view that you can stick to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know? All right. I haven't even shot a frame. Nope. Let's get you against the background. I know. I'll get you out of here at 6. We'll get out of here. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Worst case, I'll pull somebody out of here. All right. So I am going to do TTL, and we're going to go bada bing. Look at that. DMV 101, we're done, right? But that's relatively flat. There'll always be some kind of dimension to him. I mean, I could try to throw a bounce board in there just to kind of clean up that chin a little bit, but he does have a manly scruff going on. Turn straight to me, straight. Yeah, flat. So right now what we're seeing is, actually go straight, look dead at me, come on.
Sure.
What is this amateur hour stuff? Come on. Cool. In fact, if you check here, I could drop the umbrella to be more dead on, to be more like a ring light. So why don't we start with that? Because I think I already cheated this to give him some dimension, which is kind of ruins half the demo I did. It's all good. We're all a little mad here. All right, let's try this. Oh, come on. All right. Yeah. So now what I want you to realize is, look at that. There is no shadow tone to his skull, to his bone structure, to his muscle, to nothing, right? We can change that. In fact, if this is the same light, right? I'm not changing the modifier. I'm not changing anything. And we just straight up overhead. It's the same light, but all we're changing is direction of light. Guess what we're going to change? The perception of Justin right now. In fact, we're not going to like this either. Watch, we like it, but whatever. How much dimension do we just gain, right? Look at this cheek, this corner of jaw to that. Did you even notice that there was a muscle right here? Look at that, right? You can even see how dimensional his upper lip gets despite having that dead caterpillar stuck on it. Look at the shape of his nose, right? Although I will say I kind of shot you a little wide at 47 millimeters instead of 50 millimeters, whatever, who cares, right? But in the end, you can tell how deep his eye sockets are, how round his actual eyeballs are. And all I did was move a light. Now, if I cleaned it up with a bounce like we normally do, because we're just doing a demo here. It's back to being flatter, but if you notice, how much more defined is he just cleaned up, right? So this is like a fish in a barrel kind of a thing. It's like whatever. But now we did the flat, the whatever. Let's go into a harder light source here. Let's try to like really go a little completely opposite end of things. Everybody with me so far? It's helpful so far? I think there's a question online. What do you do if a campaign wants you to shoot like another photographer? I look at what they're trying to achieve. And as someone who's paid to be there, as a professional that can do what they're asking to do, I do it. I do. Like that. I mean, the reality is, if you think like, let's say you are a classical painter, and they say, "Hey, could you do a mural on the side of my store?" Well, what do you want on there? It's not it's their thing. They're hiring me to do it, right? You guys have to kind of let it go. If you're trying to do this for a profession, you're going to have infinite bosses. You're going to have to deliver, you have to deliver what they wanted or whatever you sold them. So the idea I pitched, it better look like that when I shoot it for them, right? You do not want to start, we talked about this today. You don't want to put your an Instagram full of images you shot at like a hands-on workshop that you didn't set up and make people think that that's what you're going to deliver. Then you go shoot for them. Doesn't happen that way, and then you wonder why your business gets ruined. I don't know, but things like that. Okay, so let's switch out to something really hard so that we can start. I'm gonna leave this though because you might want to use this as a fill light. All right. Oh, ooh. It's all right. I have two eyes. It's okay. It's okay.
I noticed like you kind of lost the highlight in the eye.
In the last shot, I lost the highlight. So yes, your catch lights are always going to change, right? There are catch lights. I mean, this mook is right there with that ape hanging arm and that camera, right? Here, yeah, it's not a direct light source. However, I would argue I kind of like this catch light more because I'm not stuck on what's going on in his eyes with this weird shape instead of an iris. In fact, when I shoot a lot of models, that are trained will always look towards the light, right? I can't tell you how many times in my life I said, yes, but roll your eye to the edge of the light. Because if I lose the iris, you kind of lose that, you're stuck realizing they're in a studio. What'd they shoot with? Where's the guy? Like, you're not in the shot that I'm trying to put you into, Man, there's great, man. Okay. So for a hard light, I'm gonna go to old number 1 here. Yeah, girl, come here. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. I know. Shh. This is the Profoto Magnum White Edition with the white grid. What does the white do? Thanks for asking. I was waiting for them. So when you shoot with the silver one, what ends up happening is you get a kind of a 2 light source situation. Bing, and then a reflection over here because it's specular. It's not filling the whole thing. It's not dispersing or it kind of diffuses, I guess you would say. But this will be completely full. So while it is like a relatively hard light, it's still just on the edge of not being a ridiculously hard light. And then when you have a white grid, what's cool about that is you don't get a hard end to where the beam angle is. It kind of fades a little bit, which is nice. So in the end, you're getting kind of more of an organic feel out of this. What a lot of people ask about Profoto grids are, why are they so deep? Well, if I move it a little bit, you can't see through it anymore, right guys? Look, well, can't see it. So even just the angle of the light has such a massive toll on the way it looks. So let's throw this up in the air. Let's bang a hard light at this guy, which I do like every time. It's okay, Bobby, we're gonna do this.
We'll get through it.
We'll get through it. We'll get through this together in one piece. Come on, man. This is a weird one. This is a weird demo. It's been a weird day. I mean, everybody that's here swam here in this crazy downpour. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate Justin showing up last minute when my model canceled. So Justin, I really appreciate you. And I really appreciate you guys. Like I said before we went live, without you, there is no space. So don't forget that, all right? All right, we're gonna go and we're gonna put this into group B. I'm going to not scalp myself. That would be great. Sir, sir. Belligerent crowds. I'd get that in Brooklyn, not here. All right. So I'm gonna go for more of a street lighty kind of feel to this. And by that, I'm not just gonna throw it overhead and mafia like this guy. I'm going to pitch it to the side and a little off, because no one stands directly under a street light in a perfect mark. Nobody. And I'm not even trying to make that scene happen here. We do have a cinematic demo I do, but I'm not even doing that. This one, oh, look at you. Sir, sir. I'm gonna have to ask you to stop here. Okay. Notice how I didn't move him off that background yet, because I want to see, are we still in that, going to keep that zone, or do I want to make that background darker? If I do, I still have that option. See, I'm not working myself into a corner with everything. Every decision you make has a trade-off, right? So why would I do all the trade-offs at once if I'm not even sure where I'm going yet? Okay, so before I put the grid in, watch me step on that grid and somebody's going to lose their mind. That grid costs more than, does it cost more than that? Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah. All right, we're going to TTL this. Oh, I am in a weird mode here. Hang on. Look straight at me.
Straight?
Yeah. Chin down a little bit. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's take a look. So this, you would probably go, that looks like it's probably overexposed. No. When you look at his skin texture and everything, it's on point, right? In fact, the TTL stays consistent. I still see all that detail, and the hard light gives me all that texture out of his eyes. It's on exposure. That background looks like he's against the wall. If I walk up to this like T over here.
T?
Yeah. That old mark from something I don't even remember.
Whatever it was years ago.
This is kind of why I like working in really worked in studios. It's like little weird notches and things. And you ever go into a studio, you see circles on the ceiling, like, oh, they put an auto pole there. I will put my backdrop there. You know, like that's kind of, so now I move them off that backdrop, come like over here a little bit and come to me a little more. Just, yes, right there, good. Go like this a little bit. Yeah, beautiful. That background starts getting darker, right? We also don't see him casting a shadow on it, right? So we've taken him out of a space already. We still have this grid. Let's throw a grid on there and minimize this beam angle even further. Beam angle is not focusing. People think it's the same thing. It's not. This is basically limiting how much the spread of the angle of the light is. Every time you guys buy a light, there's a beam angle in that spec. And a beam angle can also affect your exposure. You can have two lights that have the same potential power, but if one has a tighter beam angle, it's more concentrated, it might give you a little more hit. All right? All right, so let's do the grid. So like this. And I'm gonna go a little lower. I'm gonna take a shot. Oh. And all I did was throw a grid on that thing. And it's on exposure. I'm seeing pores. And we're really getting in there. Now I can take a little bite out of it. So for example, this is the science of it. It's on exposure. But the great Ab Cisse says there's correct exposure and creative exposure. And I couldn't agree more. This is where you get to really dial things in. If you're one of those people like, I'll just fix it in post. The problem with trying to chase a shot in post is you could have chased it at the time of the shot and gotten to a real definitive stance on what that image is, as opposed to trying to make a sculpture out of garbage later. You know, the more you do at the time of the shot, the happier you will be with your work over time. I promise you that, okay? All right, what was I doing? Oh, I'm gonna take a little bit of bite out of it. So I'm gonna drop it by, I don't know, let's drop it by half a stop. And so now when you look at the skin texture, while that was on exposure, it's a little more even now, right? Now you say, but Seth, blah, 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 fill light. Yeah, I know, shut up. We're gonna do that right now. But I'm gonna do it with a silver board. And why am I doing a silver board? Because I just pulled it out. No, this is going to be more of a harder light to match the harder key. And what this will give me, if it works, because a grid is really hard to bounce light back from because it's minimizing the beam angle so much. But what did I shoot that at? 63 millimeters. I will do 63.2. That guy's having a good time in the back of the store. Let's take a look. And so look at the neck, right? It doesn't even look like there's a fill there, but we pulled that out. So all these little tiny subtleties that you put into a frame, all these people that aren't us aren't gonna know what we did. All they're gonna know is how an image felt for them, how it connected for them, what it was for them. And so when you start out with that first frame and you go, all right, that's properly exposed and done. We're missing his jawline. We're missing the dimensionality to his lips. We're missing how sunken his eyes are in the corner over here. All this stuff starts pulling out of perception. So when you say, I'm a portrait photographer, when I see your work, I better feel like I already met these people. I don't want to see that they're pretty. I don't want to see that you made them look better, glamorized, whatever. I want to feel like if they walked in the room, we already knew each other. The micro mannerisms, the tiny details of their face that you pulled out by the decisions you made with your light. Does that make sense? And I think we overlook that a lot. And and to be honest with you, a lot of portrait photography is more about you're interacting and trying to get them to break. And you might only have 10 minutes to shoot them. And I've had to, it's funny, there's a short on my YouTube channel where I spotted a girl at Comic-Con that I shot 13 years ago. And I was like, I know this girl's voice. But because I spent so much energy trying to connect with her at the time I shot her for the 15 minutes, you end up becoming a psychopath the longer you shoot. Because you end up taking these tiny traits from people every time you leave with them. And then after a while, you start recognizing something from Justin that you saw in somebody else. And like, that gives you this feel. So that's another stacking of the techniques. It's not just, here's how I use hard light. It's also like, oh, this guy's kind of funny, and if they have this kind of smirk, and if I make their eyes look like this, and that's where you start stacking the special stuff. You know what I mean? You have to start noticing subtleties if you really want to build. If you have 3 subtleties per frame stacked, that's 30% of your image, right? So think of it like that. You know, the more you stack subtleties, the more you're going to elevate your work over time. Here's what I'm going to do to throw this, because he's got to leave pretty quick. I'm going to make a fake edge mask. Do you guys want to do that? Do you even know what edge mask is? No? Awesome. So, why didn't you guys tell me I left the graphic on the screen the whole time? Thanks. You're real. Edge mask. So I did this in the Nikon Z5 II video. I explained it pretty deep. And I was going to do it with the model that I had booked because she was the model from that video. I'm going to do it with him because he's got such angular features that it's going to work out really well.
Love it.
I haven't done this with him. I haven't done it with this umbrella, but what we're going to do. So let me clear this out of here for really quick. Does anybody have any questions? Is this helpful so far? All right, because this shirt is drenched, dude. Like, I am over this. All right. How are you wearing long sleeves, man?
I don't know. I didn't realize how humid it was going to be.
It's literally a river outside. I didn't realize how humid it was going to be. It's a river outside. All right.
Almost November.
That's true. You want to step over here really quick?
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna make this a background. And normally when you see me do a big white umbrella for a background, we're getting a big white background. We're getting a commercial background in a small space. This time though, what do you hear? I'm gonna make this light a little shorter because I want this dead center, not above him, okay? Because it's gonna be behind him, okay? So, all right. So edge mask is this really cool stuff that you can get for a softbox that you take out the first diffusion layer, the outer diffusion, and there's a dark, opaque center, which does not let light emit through it. What does that do? So glad you asked. You guys are really, really on it, let me tell you. Killing me, these guys. What that lets me do is light is going to literally bleed over the edge. His distance to this is going to dictate how much light reaches around his face, which then basically gives me a universal rim light that will always be equal around his face, but how far it rakes will be based on his distance to this. The wild card I have here that I'm not sure how it's gonna feel is I can't get this directly behind it. Like I can't get it to be flush, right? So I should be doing this with a softbox. Would you guys want me to trade it to a softbox or try it with this? Softbox, raise your hands. Okay, we'll do it with a softbox. I got a feeling this is gonna be into a troubleshooting rabbit hole and he's gotta go to a show. And I appreciate you coming last minute, I really do.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this is the Pro Photo 4-foot white Octa that usually comes with edge mask, but someone, I'm gonna just not name him myself, left it at the studio. So we're gonna make an edge mask. If you don't own one, now you'll make an edge mask. I don't wanna hear anything, all right? All right, let me get this off of here and boom. Everybody say goodbye, Umbrella. Bye, Umbrella. All right, you guys okay online? Yeah, you guys okay. If you guys can, I'd appreciate you guys hitting like. If you're new here, hit subscribe. It's the only way this channel is gonna get anywhere, you know? And don't forget, there's probably 2.5 years of classes on this channel if you're new, with people that talk less angry than me. You know, I talk the way I talk a lot because I want you guys to remember it. And a lot of times when I was growing up and I went to demos from really well-known guys, I was bored out of my mind and remember nothing. What's up? I'm sorry? When do I choose to a softbox umbrella? There's a few reasons I'll choose one or the other. One, honestly, sometimes it's just portability. Sometimes if I need a 5-foot light, a 5-foot umbrella is a lot easier to bring around with me than anything else. An umbrella is really great if I need a big light source that has to cover a lot of area. I'm shooting groups, shooting a big area, something like that. It's also very versatile when you can shoot it partially closed down, but you're making it work rather than getting the tool that could work, which is a smaller softbox, right? So technically, what I tend to do when I pack is I'll take softboxes that are up to a certain size, and then once they're big, it's umbrellas because they're gonna be that big anyway. If I want that big spilly look, the sock will spill everywhere as opposed to a softbox, which has a bit of a flag to it, right? If I need directionality, meaning I don't want it to spill, I'm going to softboxes. Because keep in mind, you still got the grid you can work with as well, right? Okay, so, oh, man. I haven't done this in a while, man. My breath control sucks. Well, I had a sprained ankle for the last 3 months. I haven't been able to like get any cardio in, you know? It sucks. I'm gonna shoot it without the edge mask first so we can get an idea what's going on. Justin, you want to stand right in front of this for me, please? Okay. I'm gonna go into group A, turn off group B, turn on this. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to raise it a little bit higher because I want the center basically where his neck is meeting his shoulders rather than, you guys know. Give yourself like even real estate. This is a 4-foot Octa, 5-foot would be great, but we're gonna work with this. Get in the middle of it. Yeah. Take a look at him. Obviously, he's not gonna be lit from the front, right? So we're gonna do TTL just to start, because why not? Actually, we're not doing TTL just to start, because that wasn't TTL. This is TTL. Okay, so TTL said, oh, you're clearly shooting a silhouette. Look, this was manual, but it said, oh, that's pretty good for TTL, man. And when I take it out of TTL, it's only at 3. That means I've got 7 stops of power to play with after this. And that might come in handy when I'm throwing an opaque square in front of it, you know? But what I will say is if you get actual edge mask, like the actual diffusion, the inside, if it's a good one, the inside will have silver. So instead of wasting the light burning into the opaque, it'll bounce back and give you a little bit of headway so you don't have to go full power all the time. All right, let's throw this on a C-stand. And let's make you some edge mask. Edge mask, edge mask, edge mask, edge mask. Meow, 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 meow. All right, so we're gonna just throw it into a shorty C-stand. Actually, this might not even be big enough. I have to put it into a regular C-stand. No, actually, no, I'm all right. I'm all right. I know why. So now this board is what we call gripped. right? Bingo, bango. Step forward for me. We're gonna put this right behind Justin. Now here's the thing. It might be too tall. Why? Because now I lose this edge, right? So what I can do is, yeah, something like that. Actually, this board is too big. It's covering more than 4 foot. So what do? We take out a box cutter, because we're from Brooklyn. Yeah, beautiful. Had this been real edge mask, the bottom would be open too, but I don't want to cut it if I don't have to, okay? So now let's take a shot like this and see what happens. I'm not going to change the power, but we're going to lose power, right? Because we literally put something in front of our light. Get it as close to it as possible because the edge mask actually is the softbox, so we're making it happen here. Can we get you a little bit farther back?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show you how he looks as he gets closer to me, okay? So this is Justin against. Very subtle rim, right? Well, now if I put it back into TTL, it should up the game a little bit. Boom. Wait, there's more, mustache guy. Take one step to me. This is one step away from it, right? Look how much we lost on the side of his face. We lost the nose too, right? Now come to like where this tape is. There, yeah. And if I had proper edge mask, you could get just the halo rim. But I don't want to fight this because I got to get him out of here in like 10 minutes. Are we good with this? Take a step back again. Let's get you back to where I had you. So this is probably where I'm going to leave him. Something like that. Now, in traditional world, when you're using a softbox as a background, you could probably throw in a board to bounce in. Not going to happen here. Okay, even if I take a board to the brightest part, which is that piece right there, I'm probably not going to get enough out of it. See? It's just not there. But if I did, I'd raise the power of the light. Raise the power of the light, we're back into getting fogging and all sorts of issues, which is happening over here. You see all this fogging happening? Right about here. Whew, man. So, what options do I have? Throw in another light. You guys are awesome. Let's do it. But we're already cutting him. So now our decisions come into place. Because remember one of the first things I said was when you rake from the back, look at his jawline here. Oh, man. Look at his jawline there. Look at the corner. You didn't even see on that flat shot what his facial structure is like, right? If he came to me and was like, hey, I'm getting a part for this, I don't know, we'll do the usual cop drama that he's always in. They're not going to care about that one on the left. They're going to want to see him in situations where he's probably dimmer lit, inside cars, going into grimy places. They want to be able to visualize what he's going to be like when they throw him into that setup. So it's probably more advantageous for him to have something like this than something like this. This is if they want to be like, all right, we're going to be like Florida man here and have like some kind of mugshot, right? But, oh yeah, how many times have you guys been at events and they're doing photo setups for people and all this is a giant umbrella, right at camera to give you what's on the left? Because it's safe, because it's clean. We're not trying to say anything, we're not trying to be anything, all right? Now, let's throw this gridded, tight, oh, I didn't even, I'm totally ruining this. What do we want to do? Hard light, thank you, right? Well, no, if we have all this shadow, why are we going to annihilate all this shadow? The other thing you have to realize is whatever light we throw this way, I'm sorry guys. Whatever light we throw this way, once it hits this board, if we start illuminating this board, we lose that black, right? Because if I put my cursor, if you guys see on the top over here, there's gonna be numbers. When those are 0, that's black. Right now it's in the teens. If I put it over the whitest part, we're at 200 or so. 255 across the board is pure white, 0 is black. We're pretty much there and we're just doing a demo. I'm not even like really going for it here. I'm talking more than I'm shooting, right? Okay, the octaves are 4 foot. What was I doing? Mustache guy, what was I doing? We're gonna light from the front, right? But we wanna keep that light pretty localized, right? We already got that set up. And another rule of my studio is I'm not pulling out another tool until the tool I have set up isn't gonna be the thing I work with. Okay, don't start tripping over stuff just because you think this is gonna work. You're gonna spend 5 to 10 minutes on every tool you pull out. You pull out 3 tools, you're a half hour, 40 minutes deep. Your model, your person, your client, they are bored. All right? So that's what I'm saying. Shoot with people that understand where you're at, that are okay, chill, good times. Oh, I gotta turn it on. That would help. Any questions? Are we good, guys? I am schwitzing. What my grandparents would say, schwitzing. What group is this in? I don't even know what group this is in. B, okay. A, B, all right? So we're not touching A. We're good with where that's at, right? If anything, I might even lower the exposure because it has a little bit of fogging going on. Now, when you have a light that's got a grid on it, I strongly recommend modeling lights. See where that light's going. I don't care how much experience you have. Once a grid is on there, your beam angle, you just can't feel it sometimes. So I'm gonna lock that one in. I'm actually going to shut it off completely. Why am I shutting it off? I wanna see if that light is going to touch that black board. If it does, I've got to figure something out. But I'm stuck here because if I move him from this to get him away from that light, I start reshaping that rim light like I just did. I don't have that luxury anymore. We took that away. We traded that in for the convenience of one light for a universal rim. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'll get you out of here, I promise.
No worries.
Group B, modeling light. Oh my, what is going on here? Who are you? What is this? So that wasn't even in TTL. That was in the exposure I left it at. Why did it work? Because I pulled it up to the same level I pulled it up last time. It's the same distance, same everything. I didn't change the exposure settings on my camera, right? The power of your light is not your exposure. Everyone gets this wrong. The exposure is what you set your camera to. The light fluctuates up and down to get you to exposure. That number on the back of that light means nothing in most cases. Don't jump down my throat. I know there's cases, shut up. But for the most part, if I'm at f8 at ISO 100, it's just going up and down based on my distance and modifier to get me to the exposure I'm at. So if I kept it in the ballpark, I get a ballpark. Now, if you notice, I didn't pull it up to get his hair. Why? Because I have that backlight. We have that, we need, where there is no light, I can put light. I have to have no light to make my light. Does that make sense? I'm seeing a lot of weird faces. I think I'm going all, does that make sense? Okay, yeah, she's like, whatever. Just dance, monkey. That's what she just said to me. All right, let's turn on the backlight. All right, he's gonna keep on that same thing, and Bob Bing. All right, 2 lights set up, pretty clean. I still think that backlight is too obnoxious. I'm gonna dial it back, because while it might be scientifically fine, humanly, I'm not feeling this. So I'm gonna go into that A light. It's at 8.8. I'm pumping almost full power out of this thing. That's that's 2/10 under half power. So I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take out a stop and a half. Yeah. Now it's not obnoxious. It's just there. It's just creating the shape. You could argue, I could put a little more in front of him. He's a little, yeah, you're naughty. You're like, what is this guy doing? What? No, go ahead, say it. Say it. No, right. So, but I have all this leeway. I'm at 4.7 on the light. I got 5 stops of power, right? So let's go into that front light. I'm gonna put in a half stop of light. And there we go. We lost his eyes though. I know, I saw your face. Shut up, Mark. All right. Well, so glad you caught that, Mark. Now, if I want to dial that in, I have even more leeway. What leeway is that? Jen, you're great, amazing. I had this as high in the frame as I could get it, which is the most I'm gonna get out of a bounce. I can drop it lower. After a while, you're gonna have no bounce because we're on a grid. The grid minimizes what? Beam angle. If I don't have the beam angle to skate across this, it's not reflecting anything. I love watching really garbage YouTubers doing like reflectors like this, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're just wishing, you're hoping. Get out of here. All right, let's do this. So what I'm doing right now is I'm literally looking at, actually, you know what I can do? I'll show you this. What I'm looking at right now, watch, see? Can you guys see what's happening? So we're filling him in pretty hard here. I'm looking at his iris, chin down slight. Yeah, like that. And boom. Let's take a look. Yeah. So we were here. We filled him in a lot there, but look at just the left side of his jaw, the corner of his jaw. When you get that, when you have the subtlety stacked up and you have your client there and they are done in 5 minutes with something like that, you know what happens? You're booked again by their friend, by them, and also you're not sitting there clicking a stupid mouse or playing with some AI retouch garbage. You know what you're doing? You're shooting. What does that mean? Oh, you're a photographer. And you know what you did? You created your light. You know what your light did? Built the perception of who? Your subject that you are creating a portrait of, which you portray. And now I know what Justin really looks like because before we started this demo, we were in DMV land. But what did I really do here, right? 2 lights max, piece of foam, principles. I don't care what you own, what you shoot with, what you shoot, who you are, where you're from, what your budget is. Principles. Did this have to be a $600 pro photo box? No. Could it have been a $50 glow box? Yes. Did this have to be a Magnum? Not really. I love the Magnum. There's a special quality to the Magnum. There's a reason for it. Could you get in that ballpark pocket? Yes. Will he know if I pulled out a Magnum? Well, you would probably know because you've done a million demos. But you see what I'm saying? Like, don't let the gear stop you. Don't let the I don't know stop you. You literally have the world in your pocket right now. You have this channel alone that has 2-3 years of classes for you and Adorama TV that has 15 years of videos for you. And these chairs are always for you. Did everybody get what happened here? We make decisions, we stick to them, we move forward, we get to the science, but we ride the feel. The shot's yours. Go take it. I think that's where I'm going to leave this demo because he's got to get out of here. Yeah, I think so.
Thank you. That's
I
awesome.
really appreciate you. Oh, you want that?
These like cool shots you got here, I would love them.
Okay, I'll give you some.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I usually throw these away. All right. Any questions online, guys? All right.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I forgot what I was going to say. This was not the demo I planned to do, but it's okay. But again, I'm not going to lie to you. My model tonight was supposed to be a neon purple hair, tattooed face woman. Right. It's a torrential downpour and life happens and she couldn't get here. We still love her, but Justin comes through. And what do? We look at Justin for who Justin is. What can we pull out of Justin? What can we do? And he's an actor and he's got great features and stuff like that. But in the end, he could have gone to anybody's studio and still gotten that shot on the left. But what I really want to end this with for you is start with that shot on the left when you have no idea. Look at what is in front of your lens and then start making decisions based on what you've been working on and what you're doing. I don't care if it's a mannequin. You guys have seen me for 30 weeks shoot a mannequin in here for you. I'm talking to myself. People stand here making me look like I'm psychotic. But the hardest thing you're going to have, which is what I'm dealing with right now, is picking up your camera and going to go do it. Because sometimes that camera looks like it's 1,000 pounds. It feels like tons of weight. To me, I correlate that to work more than anything now. It's going to eat you alive, but it doesn't have to, right? In less than 30 minutes, we just sculpted him out based on no guessing. We knew it was going to happen and we did it. I never did this before for him with this box. I just cut this foam core in front of your face. Principles, all right? Next week, Daniel Norton will be back here doing LED light versus flash. So if you're someone that's trying to mix light source or go with one or the other or try to find the benefits of either one, come hang out 5 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's always something happening one way or another at 5 p.m. Coffee with Creators is still going strong. Every Wednesday, 11 o'clock, I have a guest in here and we talk. So we've had 73 individual guests, amazing Emmy Award winner, Oscar winners, all sorts of stuff. Jennifer Stitt is Wednesday? Wednesday. Jennifer Stitt will be in here. She does amazing stuff with couples. I think she's a fantastic photographer and a great people person. If you guys want to learn anything about that, did you forget your umbrella?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
And
Bye.
for everybody that's watching this channel and all you guys, just know on this channel, there are compilations of old demos that I put together. I'm the one putting them together based on topic and different instructors. So you get different point of view of the same topic. Let them run. They're like 3 hours. When you're editing, put them on. There's an 8-hour long one that I literally made as a screensaver for you guys. Me, Lindsay Adler, Joe McNally, Ab Cisse, Gary Hughes, they're all on there. Let it run. Play it. Drop comments. Talk to each other in those comments. The more we grow that channel, the more I can do for you here. The more you guys sit in these chairs or jump in that chat, the more I can bring to you here. I am only so much of this. If you do not show up virtually or in person, I can't do any of this. So if you appreciate any of it, all I ask is you subscribe, hit like, come hang out at some events, talk to some people on those chat rooms and whatever, not chat room, Discord. I'm so tired, Mary. I'm down on my feet. But more than anything, you could be anywhere in the world right now, and I appreciate you guys being here right now. And maybe I got to do another demo just to kind of shake up some more rust. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you guys for coming out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.